Ayo! What's up everybody, it's Doka here, and today we have my personal tier list on Deathblade Counters and Lost Ark PvP. But before we get to the video, don't forget, if you like this content, to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, let's get to the video. Alright, so I've already broken it down by class. We got three sections. We got S tier, A tier, and B tier. S tier, usually just going to be a flat out whoever is the better player is going to win. A tier is just about a little bit of an even fight. You might struggle a little bit getting the dub here, but you're going to get it anyway, baby. And then the always win tier means you're probably always going to win against these classes no matter what, just because of the fact that they just don't really counter the Deathblade as well. We're going to start with the warrior classes. First off is the Paladin. So for the Paladin, this is based on team eliminations, not deathmatch or team deathmatch or team gameplay, because if we were talking team gameplay, probably put all supports up in the S tier. But this is for team elimination, so Paladin, gonna go in the B tier just because it's support. Almost all the time when you're facing a Paladin, you're probably gonna win, just because they don't really have the super armor and things to deal with all of the combos that a Deathblade has. Next up, we have the Gunlancer. So for the Gunlancer, you're just going to run into a few problems when you go up against them. They do have some heavy armor. They also have shield that they can build up, and that kind of makes it tough for you to cut through and do the damage you need to do. But usually when I'm facing a Gunlancer, I'll take something like Moonlight Sonic, and I'll run around him for a minute until I can get him to just stop, throw Moonlight Sonic down, and then we'll go and drain the shield he's got before I enter him with a Dark Axle combo or something like that. So Gunlancer, you might have a little bit of a tough time, but you're still going to get the dub, hopefully. It's an even fight. Maybe if he's better, he'll take you on. Who knows? But in my personal opinion, from everything I've fought, Gunlancer is like an A tier even fight. Probably more towards the end of the A tier, just because of how slow the class is. It allows Deathblade to really shine with how much of a rush-down PvP class it is. So, next up, we got the Berserker. The Berserker, as fun as it might be to play, it's a very, very slow class that waits for these open opportunities to go and open with their combos. And the only issue with facing a Deathblade with that is they're a very rush-down class. So, 90% of the time when you're going in on them as a Berserker, you're going to have to hit some sort of hard CC like a stun to really get a combo off. So we're going to go ahead and put Berserker. I would put Berserker in B tier, because I've never struggled against Berserkers. I just haven't. They're just too slow to deal with the Deathblade. Next, we're going to go to the Mage classes, which would be Sorceress and Bard. So to start off, we're going to do Sorceress. Sorceress, I'd probably put at an even fight. Put it above Gunlancer. So Sorceress has a lot of AoE abilities, slows, and CC to deal with. And if you don't really know what you're doing as a Deathblade, it could be a little hard. But as long as you can bait out the AoEs and the CC, you can go ahead and get in on a full combo and 100 to 0 with Sorceress in no time flat. But that being said, Sorceresses that know how to play can really put up a fight against the Deathblade. So you're not always going to come out with the W here. I would put it at A tier and mid to high. Next up, we have Bard. Again, it's a support class. I've faced a few Bards in PvP, and I've not had a problem, so I'm going to put them at the bottom of B tier with Paladin. Next up, we have the martial arts classes. So, we have Scrapper, Soulfist, Wardancer, and Striker. We're going to go ahead and put Scrapper. I would probably put Scrapper either like a high B or a low A. Just because I don't think I've struggled against a Scrapper before. Mostly I see Soulfist and Strikers in PvP. But for Scrapper, we'll put them at the top of B tier. Just because most of the time you're coming away with the dub just because they can't really do much compared to your openings. A lot of the martial arts classes don't really excel at getting you down without having you CC'd. So, as long as you use your mobility as a Deathblade, you can get around a lot of the Scrapper, even the Wardancer. The Wardancer we could put in B below Scrapper. A lot of the Scrapper and Wardancer's abilities you can get around as a Deathblade just because of the mobility that you have with the class. And that brings us to Soulfist. So for Soulfist, a lot of the times, Soulfist I'd probably put into S tier. Soulfist is S tier just because their combos, the Kaioken, everything you can kind of do like that is crazy. And their damage output, once they actually hit you with one thing or some CC, they can unload everything. And it could just end you as a Deathblade. They're going to go into the S tier because they match us in mobility. And anytime we go against one, it's a little bit of a sweat moment. So, the last class we have is Striker, which I would put in S tier. But I just haven't faced enough good Strikers. I just haven't. That being said, though, not saying that if you go against a Striker, they're kind of just like the Soulfist, where they can really lock you down. And they kind of match us on mobility. The only thing we really beat a lot of classes in is the fact of that super armor that we get. That super armor that we get is absolutely insane. The buff for 5 seconds destroys most classes when we're able to get an opener. The next range of classes we're going to get into would be the Gunner. So Artillerist, their firepower is actually ridiculous. Their 75% combo, I mean, it's good against any class. But as long as you rush them down, you should usually get the win. I would say you'd probably get the win less than against a Gunlancer. Or more than against a Gunlancer, but less than a Sorceress. Just because if you can outmaneuver any ability that the Artillerist is throwing at you, you can then get your opener on them, and then just rinse and repeat. As long as you don't stay at a long distance with the Artillerist, you usually take that win 9 times out of 10. Another S tier right here is Gunslinger. Definitely throwing Gunslinger up in the S tier. Probably higher than Soulfist. Just because their kit it's crazy. They have a kit for long, medium, and close range. Just getting in on them is tough enough. And unloading a combo when some of their abilities have the super armor that counters what we're trying to set up. It's rough fighting a Gunslinger sometimes. So I'm going to put Gunslinger into the S tier. Next up, we have the Sharpshooter, and I think we all know where this one's going. We're going to put it in the Always Win. Probably, maybe right above Paladin, right below Berserker. Just because all they really have to counter us is that dark vision arrow, whatever that is. Usually you get hit by it, you're pretty good as long as you're staying close to them. And then once they throw that at you, you're usually, if you're up there, and you're inside of them, then it's over for them. Just 9 times out of 10, it's over. Every Sharpshooter that I faced that got me with the sight reduction, I get close with them, and I just hit them with the combo. Usually they get close enough to a wall to where when you're doing a surprise attack or something like that, it'll bounce them against the wall. You'll be able to headbutt, get on with the full flash blink surge combo. Next class we have is the Deadeye. Deadeye, once again, you don't really see that many. Not many Deadeyes really playing. I don't know if it's a good class in general. I just no-life the shit out of Deathblade. So, we're going to put that in B tier. I think I've faced probably about 2 Deadeyes in the entire time that I've played. We'll see how it goes as PvP opens up more, but they look like a pretty lackluster class. I don't really have much I can remember from fighting a Deadeye. They're not too good. Not too good. They're just a pretty much dumbed down gunslinger with pistols, from what I can see. But other than that, B tier. That's it, baby. Next one, Deathblade. We're going to put at S tier, A tier, somewhere around there. It would definitely be high A tier, low S tier. I would put it at low S tier just because it's more of a skill-based matchup at that point. Whoever's the better Deathblade will win. Whoever has the better kit. Whoever counters better, whoever uses their mobility in a better way, is just going to beat the other Deathblade 10 times out of 10. So I would go ahead and put that in S tier. And Shadowhunter, also, I don't know whether to put this A tier or S tier, just because of the fact that when they're not in their demon mode, I would put them at A tier just because they can run around with a few of their abilities that have some range on them, and just poke you around a bit until they get their demon form, and then that's when they unload. Because in their demon form, I believe it is, they have almost complete CC immunity. So there's not much you can do. So once they actually go demon form, I'd put that S tier. But Out of demon form, A tier, so I'd put it high A tier, low S tier. And that wraps up the tier lists. Don't forget, if you like this content, to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bubbles we holding, I look it down. If it's a problem, I go to the bar and I shut it down.